Hi, it's Alicia Cross here, the Alicia Cross Training, and today I am talking to you about snacks and snacking. So first of all, what is snacking? Snacking is eating in between meals, and these are usually smaller than your meals. And snacking doesn't necessarily mean that you are eating unhealthy food. You can have carrots and hummus, or you can have cookies. Those are two very different things. So I get a lot of questions about snacking. So I want to talk about snacking and how to avoid it and maybe why you should avoid it. So in Ayurveda and in science, there's going to be some reasons why you want to just eat meals and not snacks in between. So I'm going to cover some of those. So in Ayurveda, which if you have been talking to me or following me recently, you'll see that I am getting more into Ayurveda. I'm learning about it. I'm following lifestyle practices, Ayurvedic lifestyle practices in my own daily routine, and I am pursuing a Ayurvedic lifestyle coaching certificate so that I can better help my clients get their health and wellness in alignment by following these Ayurvedic practices. So in Ayurveda, we have the doshas. And there are 3 doshas, and there's different lifestyle routines that we follow and different diets that we can follow for our dosha. And our dosha is not only within us, it's within the year, it's in the season, it's in our lifetime, it's in our day. And when we're eating, we go through different doshas. So after we eat, we're in the kapha time. And this is why we feel like we are tired after we eat, and it's a really good idea to rest after you eat. And then after that kapha time, which is about 90 minutes to 2 hours, you go into the pitta stage. And the pitta is where you are really digesting the food that you've eaten. You're digesting your meal. And this lasts for about 2 to 3 hours. So if you feel sluggish more than 2 hours after you've eaten your meal, you ate too much. And of course, if you're getting heartburn or indigestion in that pitta stage, you've eaten too much, or you've eaten foods that have aggravated that pitta dosha. So if we're allowing the body to go through these cycles, if we're eating before we've digested our food, we're messing up those cycles to digest the previous meal. And this is why in Ayurveda, you're going to want to eat meals only, not snacks, and allow time between all of those meals to digest. And that's going to be different depending on what your dosha is. So it's really good if you know your dosha, but in between, you're going to need that time of 3, 4, 5 hours to digest, depending on what you ate and how big the meal was. And a really good rule that Ayurveda teaches us is that when we're eating, we fill the stomach half with food, 1/4 with liquid, and 1/4 empty, so that the stomach can digest the food. And if you think about any appliances or kitchen appliances that you have, if it's your washing machine, you can't fill that all the way up. If you're making something in the food processor or in your NutriBullet, you can't fill that all the way up. It needs a quarter space to work. And same thing with our stomach. We need space in there to digest the food. So again, if we're overeating, or if we've eaten our meal and then we're going for a snack or a dessert after, we could be going past that, those guidelines of half food, half liquid, and half food, quarter liquid, quarter space. Now, the same thing is happening when you're looking at it from a scientific or a biological standpoint. You're in your fed or absorptive state 4 hours during and after your meal. And then you're in a fasted state after 4 hours. So that can be a good rule of thumb for how often you want to eat, every 4 hours. Because once you get into that fasted state, that's when the sympathetic nervous system takes over, and that is nicknamed fight or flight. So that's when you're not bringing in enough sugar for your body, and it's resorting to these other processes to make enough sugar to keep you alive, basically. So whether we're looking at Ayurveda or if we're looking at kind of scientific guidelines, there are some principles that tell us we need space and time after we eat food, and we're good to go for a certain amount of time. So 3-4 hours can be a general rule, just kind of depending on what your dosha is, because different doshas do have different recommended meal times. And then I also want to talk about time-restricted eating. So you may have heard about intermittent fasting and wondering if this is good for you or if you should try this. Basically, we are all fasting when we sleep. So this time-restricted eating focuses on that fasting time when we're sleeping. And this is what I want you to listen to if late night snacking is your issue. So time-restricted eating means that you're limiting the time you eat to a certain number of hours. Now, let's say you're used to eating breakfast at 7 or 8 in the morning, and after dinner, you keep snacking well into 10 p.m. So your window of eating is well over 12 hours. So your fasting time is going to be shorter. Now, what studies have found is that people can eat the same amount of calories, they can eat the same exact food, and whether they eat that over, say, 14 hours or 8 hours is going to look very different. So if you're stretching out your eating time for that 12, 14 hours, you're going to have higher body weight, and your health markers are going to be worse, like your blood sugar, your cholesterol. Those numbers are going to be worse. What they found is you can eat the same amount of food, but limit that to a smaller window of time, and all that's going to improve. Your body weight's going to improve, your cholesterol is going to improve, your blood sugar is going to improve. So that may be the thing that's going to help with your late night snacking. So if you say to yourself, I am going to try a 12-hour or a 10-hour eating window, and then I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to stop eating. And then being consistent with that practice will let you know if it's working, if you're getting the results that you want to see. So that's time-restricted eating. And again, you have to look at the window of time that you are eating right now. If that's 14 hours, maybe you're cutting that back to 12, or maybe less. And then you need to be consistent with that every day. It's not something that changes from day to day, or some days you do it and some days you don't. It's finding that consistency in your habit to see what kind of changes that it has for you. Now, if you are like me and you want something sweet at night, and no amount of willpower is going to change that, which a lot of you have that question, you have that issue. You just keep trying, you just keep saying, well, I'm not going to eat at night, I'm not going to eat at night. But you know that you want something sweet. You know that you want something sweet to eat at night. Well, then work with that. Instead of trying to be somebody you're not, instead of trying to change who you are, work with it. So this is why I like to have a smoothie at night. So my protein smoothie has protein powder and fruits and vegetables and healthy fats in it, and it's basically it's like a Frosty. It's delicious. So that's what I have at night that hits my craving for something sweet, but it's healthy. I'm getting what I need. I'm getting my protein, my fiber, my healthy fats, everything I need. And that's my dinner. I'm not having dinner and a smoothie. And that works really well for me because the majority of the days I'm working out at night. So I come home and have that smoothie rather than having a big dinner. And that's also something that Ayurveda tells us is a really good habit to adopt especially if we're having a hard time waking up in the morning, or feeling tired, or if we're holding on to extra weight. It's a lighter dinner. For me, that's a smoothie, but it could also be, a salad or soup, something that's light and easy to digest, and not having it right before bed. So some Ayurvedic guidelines would be to stop eating by 7 and then in bed by 10. And if that doesn't work for you, just still try to stick to the 10 o'clock bedtime. But if you're having that smoothie or something light, definitely not a huge meal right before bed. That's going to help a lot. And Ayurveda tells us that our biggest meal is at lunchtime when our digestive system is the strongest. So if we can stick to that of a moderate breakfast, a big lunch, light dinner, which maybe is a smoothie, that's going to help us to reach our goals, whatever they may be, even if it's just not feeling like we're dragging ourselves out of bed in the morning. And I really encourage you to notice why and when you are snacking. So if it is throughout the day, maybe one, there's just too much time between your meals. If you're eating breakfast really early in the morning, 5-6 hours later, you haven't had lunch, this may be why you're reaching for snacks. In Ayurveda, we want to eat our meals at the same time every day, and it may take some time to bring that into alignment from day to day, but your digestive system will get used to eating at those times. So if you're used to feeding your body, breakfast, ideal time would be around 7 or 8, and then having lunch, your biggest meal, around 1, dinner no later than 7, and then for me, there's got to be a 4th meal in there, so I have something else maybe around 4:30, and then my smoothie at night before bed. Your digestive system will get used to eating at those times, so it's not going to be poking at you to eat something else in between those meals, because you've kind of trained it that that's when you're going to eat. If you are, some other reasons why you might be snacking between meals, just if you're bored. So really check in if you're having symptoms of physical hunger or emotional hunger, and then address those. A really good way to check in with that is just by practicing a technique called RAIN. This is a mindfulness technique, recognizing what you're feeling, acknowledging it rather than trying to push it away, investigate, look a little deeper, and then nurture yourself. What is it that you need? So if there are some emotional things that are happening, maybe it's not that you're nurturing yourself with a snack. Maybe there's something else that you need in that moment. So that practice is called RAIN. And that will really help if you are eating for emotional reasons. That's really good to have that self-inquiry just to see if that's what's going on. Another reason that you could be eating between meals is you're not getting enough of the nutrients that you need, especially the macronutrients in your meals. So you want to make sure that you're getting plenty of protein, healthy fats, and good complex carbohydrates in all of your meals. And then if you are, another reason why you could be getting hungry for a snack, if you're eating a lot of sugar, a lot of processed food, well, then you're going to experience that crash in your blood sugar that's going to make you want to eat food, especially something that's like really quick and satisfying, which is usually not healthy. It's the donuts that are in the snack room, or it's something in the vending machine. And another reason why you could be hungry in between meals is maybe you are dehydrated. Maybe you need water. So drinking water or some herbal tea throughout the day, just to make sure that you're not mistaking those feelings of thirst for hunger, because they can feel very much the same. And maybe you're just not getting enough calories in your meal. Maybe your meal itself needs to be bigger to sustain you longer till that next 3-hour or 4-hour time frame when you are eating. So I think that's all I wanted to talk about for snacks. Oh, and also logging. So logging your food can really be helpful. So you can use the free app MyFitnessPal, and that will show you how many calories you're taking in, how much protein you're getting, how many grams of sugar you're getting. And so just that idea of that practice of logging is enough to give you some awareness that may actually lead to some changes. And what I really like about MyFitnessPal is you can set it up to reflect the way you eat or the way you want to eat. So it doesn't have to just be breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, which I think is how it defaults. You could just set it up as, meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, and meal 4, or whatever you want to call them. Breakfast 1, breakfast 2, lunch, dinner, or however you want to label your meals, and then sticking to that kind of template that you've set for yourself and logging the food in there. So that logging will bring some awareness, just the practice of logging. Also kind of educate you about calories, about serving sizes, and then maybe it'll help you really adhere to that plan that you've set for yourself rather than snacking throughout the day. You can look and see that you've gotten you got everything you need in your breakfast, and you're going to eat again in 3 hours when it's lunchtime, or whatever you want to call your meals. And again, the really important part is to be consistent with whatever you're doing. If you are doing it a day here and a day there, and you're kind of just reverting back to your existing habits, there's not going to be the opportunity for your body to make those changes. So perhaps if you're committing to trying something for a month, maybe for the month of February, and seeing what happens, take a before picture, take your body weight. If you have other health markers that you can check, your blood sugar, your blood pressure, even just kind of journaling about how you feel in the morning, how you feel throughout your day. Do you have the energy to do the things that you want to do? And then reflecting back in a month on how those numbers are doing and how you are feeling, what kind of effects this had on you. And the last thing that I'll say about snacking, and really about any habit that you want to incorporate into your life, or a habit that you want to let go of, it's really important that you look at how you identify yourself. Are you the type of person who snacks? Are you the type of person who eats junk food? And this is internally how you feel about yourself, and also how others see you. Are you the type of person that people are going to give you snacks and cookies for, holidays or for your birthdays because they kind of expect that that's what you want? Or are you the type of person where people know that if they're going to give you something, it's not going to be food, it's not going to be candy, it's not going to be cookies, that you are someone who is healthy and cares about your health, and if they are going to offer you something, it's going to be in alignment with your identity. And for yourself, once you've kind of put that line in the sand that I am the type of person who does this, you are going to fulfill that within your ability every day. So what is that identity? Who do you want to be? And then how do your habits reflect that? And so that's really important when we're starting new habits or letting go of some old habits. And again, it's important to be really positive about this. So making those affirmations, making your vision board, whatever it is, so that you can start to identify as this healthy person who cares about their health, their well-being, who cares about taking in quality food, rather than somebody who's kind of at the mercy of whatever snacks are laying around at the office or in your pantry. So as you make those changes on the inside, that inner work, that's what's going to lead to those outer results that you're looking for. So this maybe did not go in the direction that you thought it would about snacks, but I think it's really important to look at some other issues that are maybe leading towards snacking, and those could be physical or emotional or energetic. And I would really be happy to talk to you about any improvements that you could make in any of those areas, physically with exercise and diet, with proper sleep, just emotionally if there's things that can be done as far as just journaling and some self-inquiry, meditation, and energetically a yoga practice, and anything that's associated with the system of yoga and the sister science of Ayurveda that can really help bring your life into balance. So really get out of the mindset that it's just food, it's just diet, it's just weight loss, and seeing that that's kind of a product of other things that are happening, and how can we address those and heal those from the inside out. So if you have questions about anything that I've talked about in this video or about snacking, just post it in the comments. I am going to post in the comments the blog post I did with the smoothie recipes. So there's 5 smoothie recipes that are different combinations of fruits and vegetables that all have the protein powder, and it'll show the protein powder in there that I am loving right now. And then if you need help with this, if you want to make that change, maybe making that change for the month of February to see how that affects your energy, your mood, your physical body, let's do some wellness coaching or some nutrition coaching so that we can get you on track for realizing some of these goals that you've set for yourself in 2019. So maybe January you're off to a great start, maybe not so much. I want to help you. I want to help you reach those goals and really understand how all these components can work for you to help you be healthy, happy, successful, filled, all of those things you want. So please reach out to me, post something in the comments or send me a message, and let me know what we should talk about in the next video. All right, have a great day. Thanks.